Welcome back, everybody, to week 9 of the Game Time Sports podcast. We're back again for another week. You can catch Game Time Sports on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. A bunch of videos will be posted on there shortly after the video is uploaded by Jace, our social media manager. And you can follow us on social media. Our social medias will be on the screen for the majority of the episode. So, Jace, you got anything before we get started?
No, but I am very excited for this episode. Let's get into it.
We got a good one planned for you guys. We got the 5 regular segments, and let's just get started with Roundup. All right, so recently the NBA season has come to an end. The NBA season has recently come to an end. The play-in tournament is currently going on. The Golden State Warriors got demolished last night before we record this, but the games are still going on, so we're not really going to focus on that. We'll focus on that next week. But we will focus right now on 2 big things that did happen into the tournament. And one of those things is Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder sneaked into the 1 seed, just barely got it. Jace, can you tell us how that happened?
Well, how that happened was they had a lot of good players on that team. Lou Dortz, J Dub, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren. I mean, they just had a phenomenal starting core. Their bench was solid. They had relatively a lot of consistency throughout the year. It would usually be like they win 4, then they lose 2. And they were just a really consistent team. They had some big wins. They were beating a lot of good teams. And it wasn't just, they lost all the tough games. They've won a lot of the tough games, more than they did lose. So this isn't no fraudulent team. A lot of people are not trusting them heading into this postseason. But I think if they can avoid the Mavericks in the second round, I think they'll probably go to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, consistency. If they continue to stay consistent, their bench is doing good, their star players are playing good. As long as they continue to do that, they could definitely make a run. Because you have to be good to get the 1 seed. You don't just get that. It's not like it was like the last spot in the playoffs and they barely rolled their way in there. But no, they fought themselves for a 1 seed, and the Nuggets are a very good team. Nuggets are a very, very good team. So I think that they have a very good shot. We'll see what happens here in the next few games. But moving on, the Celtics, they clinched the number 1 seed in the league like 3 weeks ago. So who do you think can challenge them? Who has a shot to even have a shot against them?
I want to say this. Really, I think the only teams they're going to have to worry about is maybe the Sixers or Heat in the first round. And I think really I just don't think there's a team that can beat them. But if anyone is going to, I feel like it would be something like possibly 76ers or Heat. And it doesn't even have to be in the first round, it could be in the conference championship for all we care. But if one of those teams does get hot during the playoffs, that could be a really interesting series. I don't think one of those teams will beat them, but if anyone's gonna possibly challenge them, I think it very well could be the Sixers or Heat. I definitely have the winner of Sixers Heat going on to the second round. I think the Knicks are kind of fraudulent, but we'll have to see. I'm really excited to see what happens in this Eastern Conference to see who can even stop the Celtics. It's almost like the Chiefs of the NFL. Who's going to beat them? We don't know, and it probably won't happen.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that can slow down the Celtics. I think they're going to run all the way through the playoffs, and if they don't win the finals this year, it's going to be a very, very hard off season for the Celtics to overcome. So I think that they're gonna go all the way. They're gonna cruise to the finals. I mean, they were the best team in the league this year, and it wasn't even close. I mean, they won, what was it, like 15 more games than Thunder in
They won
the
7 more. I think 7 more than the Thunder, but 15 more than anyone in the East, I think.
oh, my bad, in the East, like 15, like they had the best record in their conference by like 15 games, which is incredible.
Yeah, and the fact that you could have lost 14 more games than you did and still have gotten the 1 seed is unreal.
And this isn't a sport where you only have 82, you play 82 regular season games.
Yeah,
This isn't like
it's
baseball
stupid.
whenever you play 162 games and even winning the your conference by 15 games, and that is still crazy. But with only an 82 game season, that's just unheard of. So
Now in the NFL, then we'd have a problem.
now if you're that would be that'd be quite the issue, but we'll see what happens if we get there.
I don't think
All
it.
right, anything else?
Nope.
All right, moving on to or moving on to what's cooking hot take of the week. All right. Welcome to What's Cooking Hot Take of the Week. We have one thing to talk about right now. What team can make a run out of the playing games? Jace, who do you got?
I think that the Philadelphia 76ers, if they win tonight or, well, tomorrow, then we will know who would have won this game. But I'm going to say they're going to win tonight. I think they're going to go and beat the Knicks in about 6 games. And then I think they're going to go meet up with either the Bucks or the Pacers. I think they'll beat them. I think they're actually going to get to the conference finals this year. I think Embiid having a guy like Tyrese Maxey, and if Embiid gets hot, they're going to be healthy with a great second option for him. Incredible second option, may I add. And I really think they're going to make a run in this Eastern Conference playoffs here.
So for my team, I'm going to take the Los Angeles Lakers, and the reason for this, I've actually have a couple reasons. First of all, they're playing the Nuggets right now. They're about to go play the Nuggets. Well, not right now, but they're gonna go play them eventually. And so if they can find a way to win that series, I'm obviously the Nuggets are a better team, but if the Lakers can find a way to win that series, I think they have a very good shot to continue that momentum and continue to have a Cinderella run through the NBA playoffs. Now, are they really going to beat the Nuggets in that series? Probably not. But if they do, that would be knocking off a really high level competitor early. So then obviously it's not easy, but it takes away, you know, obviously going down the stretch, and then you're going to probably have to play Thunder, which they might lose to them. They're probably going to lose to them. But just knocking off a big competitor like that is incredible. It was really good for them. And then it's just LeBron and Anthony Davis, and that team is just, I mean, you have LeBron, and LeBron is one of the, maybe some people say, the best player to ever play the game. And so when you put him in a big moment, he's going to step up. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. So that'll bring us to the end of the What's Cooking Hot Take of the Week segment. Let's move on to Deep Under the Glass, where we have a very interesting topic. All right, so for Deep Under the Glass, we have a pretty interesting topic. The Houston Astros, who last year were one win away from the World Series, a year ago a year before that won the World Series, and have been to 7 straight ALCSs, are struggling right now. They are on the struggle bus. Right now, they are 6-14 after a loss today to the Braves. They just got swept by the Braves in 3 games, and it's just not looking good for Houston. And well, one of the big reasons for that is their pitching staff. Their pitching staff, they have the second highest ERA in baseball right now. And a lot of that goes to injuries. I mean, their planned opening day starting rotation, all 5 guys were injured. Obviously, Ronald Blanco has done awesome. So I think he probably would have came up and done good anyways. He's pretty good. But outside of him, their starters have not done good. I mean, excuse me. They've all done good. So outside of Ronald Blanco and Christian Javier, their starting rotation hasn't been very good because of the injuries. I mean, Luis Garcia is injured, and Justin Verlander is injured, and those guys are injured. And in the bullpen, guys are just struggling. I mean, they've had a few injuries in the bullpen, but I mean, they have their main starters in the bullpen with Josh Hader and Brian Abreu and Ryan Stanek. And those are the guys that they, damn it, Bobby. Those are their three. That's our 3-headed monster. And that's what they want to go out there. And all those guys are struggling right now. I mean, Josh Hader, he had a good out. He had a good, oh my God. He had, yeah, he had a good outing today, but yesterday versus the Braves, he didn't even record an out, I think, in the ninth inning, and it was really bad. And Brian Abreu has a high ERA, and so they're just not pitching well at all. What do you think?
Well, the main problem is the bullpen. They can't close out games. Um, Jose Altuve is having just an unreal start to the year, but they're really wasting him away right now this season. Obviously, they've not wasted his career at all. I mean, a couple World Series and 7 straight ALCSs is unreal. And I just think that this team will get it figured out winning wise, but the playoffs, man, I don't know. This team could very well miss the playoffs for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, they will definitely probably get it figured out. Justin Verlander is set to make his 2024 debut on Friday, so a day after this is out. Hopefully, he can come back and get something going. And obviously, our pitchers, most of them will come back eventually, and they'll get stuff going. And the hitting isn't really entirely the problem. I mean, Jose Altuve is playing incredible. I mean, Jordan is awesome, and Kyle Tucker is Kyle Tuckering right now. So they're doing fine when it comes to hitting, but we'll see what happens. All right, moving on to knock knock. Who's there? What's next? All right, welcome to knock knock. Who's there? What's hot? That took a few tries, but we made it.
Just a few, maybe 12 or 13.
Okay, so big things happening. First of all, Spencer Strider out for the year with the Braves. That is very big, very big. He is out for the entire year, and the rest of the rotation is not playing entirely great. Like they haven't been like necessarily awful, but they haven't been like elite level where they need them to be now because Spencer Strider is out. So if Max Fried and Charlie Morton and Chris Sale can step it up, I mean, Reynaldo Lopez had an awesome start yesterday versus the Astros. But as long as those guys can step up and play good, they will be fine. But we'll see what happens. You got anything?
Nope.
All right. So big thing, college basketball. John Calipari signs a contract with Arkansas, and Mark Pope goes to Kentucky to replace the duties from John Calipari. Jace, can you tell us what this means for either program or basketball in general?
Well, I will say this, Arkansas is going to get some really good recruits coming up here in the next couple of years. Expect them to have a lot of star talent. He's going to produce a lot of lottery players and NBA draft picks. But man, I mean, they're probably going to lose still in the tournament. I just think this team is good already. And with John Calipari, it makes it better, but it doesn't make them a team that's going to go and win the national championship. You know, they don't have a great defense already. And John Calipari's not known for his defense. I mean, he gave up 10 threes or whatever to Jack Golke or whatever his name was in the first round of the tournament of 14 seed of Oakland. I mean, come on. But I do think Arkansas will be better. I think they'll consistently be a top 3 to 4 seed next 5 years in his tenure. The 5 year, $15 million contract he got, by the way, pretty big deal for him. But yeah, I think it's a good deal for Arkansas. They will get better, but I don't know if it's going to bring them to Final Fours and national championships. And for Kentucky with Mark Pope, now this is where things get interesting. Mark Pope at BYU, he kind of, that program was really good in the early 2010s, struggled down the road. They were bad for a long time, but now that they're good, they were good again. I mean, they beat the Kansas Jayhawks this year when they were starting to, yes, go down and to their end of season form. But boy, oh boy, did they get good throughout the year. I mean, they were a 6 seed for a reason. Yes, they had that heartbreaking upset loss in the first round, but I think Mark Pope is a really good coach. He's going to bring this team a ton of victories in the future. I don't think they'll be as good as they were with Calipari, but maybe they'll go farther in the tournament. Possibly. We'll see.
Yeah, I think this is a very, very interesting signing for the Kentucky because I think that Mark Pope. He's a very, very good coach. Obviously, you said with BYU making the tournament, but the only thing I see is I mean, they were a 6 seed, so it wasn't that bad of an upset. I mean, obviously, I mean, you don't want to be upset like that, but just being in a big game like that. But I think that that won't be the case with him at Kentucky. I think because one, Kentucky is gonna have a better roster than BYU has, and I think that and they barely lost to Queen. It wasn't like they got blown out or anything. So I think they'll. I'm not sure if this will make them a national champion, but I think they might here in the next few years start to dive a little deeper into tournaments because they actually, I mean, they really have struggled in the last 5 years. I mean, they really haven't gotten very far in recent years. So I think that'll help them out. And then on the other side of a little bit south of them with Arkansas, with John Calipari joining them, I think that the program will definitely improve. I think they'll definitely get a lot more better recruits. Their team will build up and they'll start getting higher seeds in the tournament. And but I just don't know because Calipari has a problem with the last couple of years and losing big games. Just in the last couple of years, obviously he's a great coach. He's won big games, but just recently he's starting to fall off. But maybe going to Arkansas could be a time for him to regroup, and this could be something new, and he could shock the whole world and go win the national championship next year. If that's is that actually going to happen? Probably not, but we can just hope.
We will have to see. What do we got next, Caden?
All right, moving on to our final segment of the day, around the corner. Around the corner, we have the first week of the NBA playoffs coming up, and one of the things we should definitely talk about with that is the Suns and Timberwolves. Yes, the Suns and Timberwolves. And Jace, do you think there could be an upset in this one?
Yeah, the Timberwolves, good team. Anthony Edwards has just cemented himself as one of the better players and one of the best. He's been incredible all throughout this year. Carl Anthony Towns, I mean, their team is great, but I don't see them as a 3 seed caliber team. Teams like the Mavs, the Clippers, and especially and even the Suns and Lakers, I think are honestly all more well-rounded playoff teams than them. I just don't know how this team's gonna fare. And really, I'm expecting the Suns to win the series, and I don't know if it's even gonna go to 7 games. It's gonna be tough for the Timberwolves to get out of this series because of how much star power the Suns have. And the Suns know, hey, if we don't even make it past the first round, do you know how much of another failure the Bradley Beal trade was? I mean, it's already bad. No matter even if they go to like the Western Conference Finals at even, the team has no depth. They're broke because they are paying 3 players probably like $150 million every year. I mean, it's just a bad deal for the organization. And I think after KD and Bradley Beal's time is up in there, team's going to go through a long rebuilding era. And they're more than likely in the era where they're kind of contending, not going to get a championship out of it. Their best opportunity was 2 years ago when they won 60 games. They already made the finals in 2021. This team's kind of fallen.
Yeah, I think the Suns are not definitely, but I think they could upset the Timberwolves in this series. I think that they honestly have the better players on the court with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. Those guys are absolutely a few of the most talented players in basketball. And like you said, they're depleted, and it's hard to make a run when you have that problem. And in basketball specifically, you need to have a good bench. You need to have you got to have a good team on the court and on the bench so that whenever you don't have to force your star players to play the entire game. They can take breaks and stuff, and they're not tired get tired and stuff, and you have guys that can step up in big moments off the bench. It's kind of like in baseball, same thing. You need to have good players on your bench because late game situation, you need to bring somebody in and make a good shot, make a good play, make something good on defense, something, because you need other people that can step in. And if your bench is awful, you know, like we've seen in a few of the college basketball games we've saw in March Madness, that turned that team losing because they struggled. And, I think that you need to have a little bit of depth and stuff to make a
Yeah.
run. All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. I think the Suns are gonna win the first round, but
I don't know how much farther they're going to go than that, but I think
we'll
that
see.
they
I
can.
don't know if they can get past the Nuggets or even the Lakers if they have to play them.
All right, and just last thing, NFL draft is coming up next week on Thursday. That's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a good draft. Obviously, we know Caleb Williams going first overall, and we'll see about
I'm
him.
very excited for it. I can't wait, frankly. And I'm not saying this is for sure, but if we are able to, we will do a live stream of the entire first round of the NFL draft.
We will try to do that. That might mean that we may not have an episode, or I don't know. We'll get it figured out. But that's all for today. Thank you guys
Yep.
all for joining the Game Time Sports Podcast, episode 9. Once again, you can follow Game Time Sports Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can follow our social medias whenever and follow us and do whatever you want. But please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in for the very next episode. Peace out.